All right, so now let's talk about researching ICOs and token sales. Let's find out how do you know when a token sale that's come up as available is worth investing into? One of the best ways to kind of do this is I've been pretty good at it so far. But let's go back, and if you go, there's a site icostats.com, okay? And this is basically return on investment since the ICO. All right, now this lists everything. If I just want to focus on ERC20 tokens only, which is basically Ethereum stuff, I can check that. But let's just look generally speaking. If we want to look here, the biggest one so far has been NXT, okay? This is the percentage of growth it's seen since it launched, because apparently its ICO price was 0, and now they're worth 11 cents a coin. And this is back in 2013 that the ICO came about. I want to go down here to IOTA. IOTA had a 0. I don't even know how this makes any sense, but apparently this was 0, and now they're worth 86 cents a share, IOTA. And then you've got, of course, Ethereum. So this is 2014 when the ICO price was 3 freaking cents. 3 cents a share for Ethereum. Could you imagine buying it up then? And this is a platform. So now it's worth $383. So you can see that just the profit potential for ICOs is beyond ridiculous. Stratus was what 0.007 cents a share, and now it's worth $7.50. Could you imagine how much this would be worth if you had bought even $100 worth back then? So, Neo's actually taken a hit, I think, recently because of the whole thing with China. But this is, and I'm showing you this because I'm showing you the profit potential for ICOs. This is why it's such a big boom. These sites are, oh my go. This is just, last month when it came out, it was 24 cents a share. It's worth 12 freaking dollars now. So, okay, so this puts things into perspective for you. ICOs are where the money's at, but you have to make really good call. Golem, that's up quite a bit because I actually bought into this ICO. Interesting. I haven't checked it in a while, so I guess I did. I bought it at 0.010, and now they're 33 cents a share. I think it was GNT, if I'm not mistaken, so I need to check that. So anyway, this gives you a really good idea as to what's possible. So how do you predict which ICO is going to give you these kind of results, right? Well, like I said before, obviously, new blockchain technology, it's a given. I mean, pretty much one way or another, especially if they have partners and a solid team and things like that, people are going to jump all over it, especially if it offers something above and beyond what's currently available, such as Ethereum did with, against Bitcoin and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of potential there. So what we want to do is we want to look at some of these different systems and kind of get an idea as to what makes a good investment. So we'll just pick a random one here. I didn't even see what this was. Oh, Enigma. Okay, this is a pretty good one. So this will be a good starting point. So basically, when I'm looking at an ICO, I want to find I want to find a really good idea. Okay, I want to find something unique. It doesn't have to be unique if it truly makes something better. So, that revolutionizing the use of data in crypto trading. At Enigma, we want to rethink how data is shared, aggregated, and monetized in a way that maximizes collaboration. Okay, so, you go through and you read everything and you're like, okay, that sounds like a pretty viable idea. That sounds good. The market could use something like that. And then you ask yourself, do they have a white paper of any kind? And I come down here, Catalyst Platform white paper. Yes, they have a white paper. Some white papers read like an encyclopedia. Some are written more for the layman's, for new, crypto people. This is only 8 pages, so this isn't terrible. We wrote our ICO or our white paper so that somebody who wasn't a big tech head or a developer or a programmer, could understand the concept and kind of get a grasp on what we were doing. Some people go the really far out technical route. But the idea is, do they have one? Did they put one together? Did they take the time to put things in a descriptive term that people can understand? Did they, how much detail do they put into it? And so that's one thing. Then you want to go into the team. Like, who's on the team? Some really big projects, like, a full-blown blockchain, new blockchains typically going to have a really big team. And you want to find out, like, are these guys, who are these people? You know what I mean? Are what other projects have they been associated with? Some smaller projects, I'm more lenient with if I understand, like, hey, this is still startup, or this isn't, like, what stage is the project in? If it's this is our full blown, our big token sale to the end all be all, and they've got like 2 team members, they've got no white paper, they've got really nothing, they have no concepts, they have no proof. Okay, that's a dud. If they've got a full blown team and a big budding list of advisors like this, obviously they have contributors, they have investors, so that they're already being staked. That's cool. Press. I mean, these guys have it together, and so this is somebody that maybe if I were trying to dictate, if I were to invest in 10 ICOs or 10 token sales this week, and I was going to allocate a percentage based off of how successful I think one would be, this would be one that I would look at and say, okay, I would put the largest chunk into this, okay? And then maybe I would throw a couple Ethereum into, some smaller ones, just because you never know. Like with Zempo, we're in seed capital, so we don't have a lot of this yet. We're still putting together our advisory team. We're getting ready to make some announcements for some pretty big names that we've got on board. But these guys aren't in seed capital. They're beyond seed capital. They have investors. They have all that stuff already. So if they have investors and they're not looking for seed capital, and they've already got the team, the developers, the advisors, they're already past all that, then it's just a matter of, okay, now of the people that you have, how far do I think this idea is going to go? So there are so many different elements associated with trying to figure out when an ICO is going to go big. Now, the other part to that is the token sale. How much are the coins initially, right? Some token sales they'll try to pump you for like $2-3 a token or more, and it's like, that's crazy to me. So I kind of want to see where they say what. All right, so target on crowd sales 30 million. So they're looking to basically generate 30 million in revenue, a pre-sale cap of 20 million. So basically what that means is when they launch their pre-sale, so when, bigger name investors or higher dollar investors go in, they're only going to allow 20 million of the total 30 million to be bought up before anybody else has a chance to get it. They have 100 million ENG that are going to be available, and it's an ERC20 token. Purchase methods accepted are Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's cool. Nothing has told me yet how much each coin is going to be. So I need to figure out exactly what that is. They're not telling me. They may not until you have gone to the actual page. Well, these guys do have install the alpha. So these guys have a prototype. No wonder they've been getting so much attention. So these guys actually have a prototype. If you're looking at an ICO and they have a prototype, that's huge, because that's what we're working towards with Zempo before our big public ICO push. Is we want to have our proof of concept, and we want to have prototypical models ready to go. We want to be able to show the system, and so that's kind of what we're working on now. So if they have that in place already, then that's phenomenal, because that shows you that it's not just some fleeting idea from some guy in his closet or his basement or something like that. It's actually they have a working model already in play. So that's pretty important. a timeline. Timelines are cool. Sometimes it's really hard to predict exactly what's going to happen and when, especially if you have a token sale, it's in a seed capital stage. Your timeline is going to really depend on what kind of capital you actually have to work with. You know what I mean? Because the more capital you have, the more people you can get involved to get things done. So, but these guys, like I said, this is a solid. I mean, I will be investing. I haven't yet. I will be investing in Enigma. I actually thought I did already participate in the pre-sale, but for whatever reason, I did not. I have like 2,000. Actually, it might have been more than that. Like, I think there was like 2,000 tokens in my wallet that was unaccounted for, and I had CAT in as the thing, and I could have swore it was this, but I was not able to trace it. I need to go back through the contracts again and figure it all out. So, in a nutshell, that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. We're looking for new blockchain technology. We're looking for the hype. What's the hype around a particular ICO? Because let's face it, when you're talking about a token sale, what happens after the token sale is completed? Well, then you've got a bunch of people holding tokens, and the price can either go up really fast or it can go down. And a part of that is dependent upon the hype train around it, right? So, and again, this is one of those things that depends on at what point are you going into this token sale? Are you going into a seed capital stage? Are you going into a pre-sale? Are you going into just a public ICO where everybody involved or anybody that wants to can buy a little share here and there? Because that's what really kind of dictates what you can expect, right? So like with Enigma, I might, because this isn't the pre-sale or any of that, I'm likely going to pay more per token, per CAT token, at this stage in the game than I would have, 6 months ago during any like pre-ICO or pre-sale or anything like that. So, but at the same time, I'm not going to get as much, but I'm going to get a quicker return more than likely. I'm not going to make as big a return, but I'll get one faster than had I invested in the seed stages earlier on. So that's kind of the question you want to ask yourself. Where do you want to get in? Where are you most comfortable getting in? If you see something shaping up and it's in seed capital stages and you're thinking, I think this is a great idea, and you see it develop, you see the concept develop over the weeks and the months, then go for it. If you're not comfortable, don't. Wait it out. Wait until that phase is over. See what kind of prototypes they're able to come up with. Do they have a GitHub account? Do they have, how transparent are they about the technology and about the code? It's the transparency is as much about evaluating the aptitude of the development team as it is everything else. The idea being, you don't want to dump money into something that, you've got somebody who, they're trying to scam you. There are a lot of scam coins out there. A lot of the old ones obviously are dead, and you don't want to get caught up in that. And so the thing of it is that if a coin is really good, typically, especially if they have a marketing budget, if a coin's really good, they're going to be able to pull people in, and you're going to see ads everywhere. And most people, if they're running a scam, they're not going to pump a lot of money into advertising and things like that. Some might, but again, there's so many different. There's a what if to everything. Okay. You could have a guy who's like, I've got, 50 grand. I've got $200,000. I'm willing to pump into a scam operation. I'm going to buy banner ads all over the place. I'm going to make this thing look so legit and so amazing, and I'm going to run off with $5 or $6 million in Ethereum after the whole thing is said and done. You just don't know. And so that's a lot of what you want to look into when you're working on this stuff. But again, you want to go back and you can try to look at what, you say, all right, well, what is this? What kind of platform is it? This is an investment platform. And then you can go back here and find other investment platforms that have launched ICOs in the past. How did they do? How were they priced initially? How was the price of this investment platform at the same time? How are they similar? How are they different? and then you can kind of gauge, all right, well, this investment platform did XYZ, and then this investment platform does this and this differently or better or has more people involved and so forth. And that's kind of how you can get an idea as to what you can expect to gain in returns if you've invested in this platform. Does that all make sense? I hope that all makes sense. Leave some comments in this lecture if you have any questions at all. You want me to elaborate in a little bit more detail about any one particular item. But that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it in a nutshell. So we'll get back to the next lecture here pretty soon. Thanks.